What up, Bugles? I want to welcome you to this video and to our Comics Bugle channel, your go-to spot for everything omnibus and oversized. In bright as day, in black as night, no new Green Lantern omnibus will escape my sight. And today we finally have a new one. Yes, Green Lantern by Robert Venditti Omnibus Volume 1. Cover price is 100 USD and it has 856 pages. This omnibus gathers issues 21 to 34 for both series, Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps, and also annual issues for both series, alongside with crossover issues with series Green Lantern New Guardian and Red Lanterns. That's a hefty collection of light constructs, alien politics, and emotional warfare. The front cover of Green Lantern by Robert Venditti Omnibus Volume 1 explodes with cosmic energy and intensity, featuring Hal Jordan front and center alongside Kilowog, Salak, and other members of the Corps. It perfectly captured the epic scope of the Lantern mythos. The dynamic composition by Billy Tan radiates power, will, and chaos, a visual promise of the high stakes battles within. The back cover continues the fiery momentum, spotlighting Hal Jordan charging forward through a swirling inferno of orange and red light. The tagline, Darker Days for Hal and the Corps, sets the tone for Venditti's darker, more uncertain era of the Green Lantern universe. It's an eye-catching and energetic design that immediately pulls you into the cosmic conflict awaiting inside. Of course, a short summary of the stories and the list of those issues included in the omnibus are also here. The spine is another absolute banger that DC Comics can be proud of. At the top stands a determined Hal Jordan, with the cheering hands of his fellow Green Lantern Corps members rising beneath him. Between them sits the logo and title of the book, Epic as Hell. The boards deliver a dynamic, action-packed widescreen piece of art, showcasing not only the Green Lantern Corps, but also members of the Star Sapphire Corps and even the Red Lantern Corps, joining forces on the same side. It's a stunning promise of an epic Lantern crossover and an unexpected alliance. When we open the book, we are greeted by an opening page featuring a beautiful illustration of power rings soaring through space. This is followed by a grand double-page credit spread with Hal Jordan about the names of everyone who worked on the material collected in this omnibus. Then comes the table of contents, classic in layout but detailed, listing pages numbers, story titles, and even the original release dates of the single issues. And after an introduction from Robert Venditti himself, it's finally time to dive into the stories of the Corps. When Geoff Johns stepped away from Green Lantern in 2013, he left behind a cosmic empire of storytelling that had defined the Corps for an entire generation. His decade-long run wasn't just a creative success, it was a mythology, a grand saga that expanded the very idea of what Green Lantern could be. So, when DC announced that Robert Venditti would be taking over the main Green Lantern title, expectations were sky high. Following a legend is never easy, but Venditti didn't try to replicate John's voice or retreated his arcs. Instead, he carved his own path through the emotional spectrum, blending military-style storytelling with the epic-scale fans had come to expect. The story begins in the immediate aftermath of Wrath of the First Lantern, where the Corps is battered, the Guardians of the Universe are dead, and the universe itself is still trembling from cosmic upheaval. Hal Jordan suddenly finds himself in a position he never wanted, leader of the entire Green Lantern Corps. Venditti smartly begins his run not with a massive crossover or universe-ending threat, but with a sense of uncertainty. The Corps is vulnerable, stretched thin, and unsure of its place in a post-Guardian universe. Hal, who's always been the fly-by-the-seat of his pants type, is forced into the role of administrator, politician, and general. It's an angle we rarely saw explored with Hal, and Venditti handles it with nuance. From the very first issue, Venditti's voice is distinct. Where Jones wrote Green Lantern like a blockbuster film, Venditti approached it more like a military science fiction saga. He's deeply interested in structure, hierarchy, and the burden of leadership. The early arc introduced the Durlans, a shape-shifting alien race who infiltrate and undermine the Corps from within. The Durlan infiltration story is one of the biggest through lines in the Omnibus, playing out across Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps simultaneously. It's equal part politician thriller and war story, echoing real-world anxieties about espionage, infiltration, and mistrust within institution. Meanwhile, the Lights Out crossover, which brings together all the Lantern titles, serve as Venditta's statement piece. The event centers on Relic, a scientist from a universe that existed before our own, who believes the emotional spectrum is finite energy source. One that, if overused, will destroy reality itself. It's a brilliant concept that challenges the very foundation of everything the Lantern stands for. For years, the Corps has believed that willpower and emotion were limitless. Now they are confronted with the idea that every ring charge, every light construct, is slowly killing the universe. The philosophical implications are enormous, and Venditti uses Relic not as a villain, but as a tragic figure. Someone who is right, but whose methods put him in a direct conflict with our heroes. Visually, the Lights Out storyline is a feast. The art team, including Billy Tan, Bernard Chang, and Dale Eaglesham, deliver stunning cosmic vistas and increased energy effects that feel alive on the page. The depiction of the emotional spectrum exploding across galaxies is breathtaking, and there's a real sense of scale and awe that rivals anything from John's era. The event also gave us one of the most dramatic moments of Venditti's run, but I don't gonna spoil this real emotional moment. Read it. Venditti's handling of the larger Lantern mythos is respectful but unafraid to innovate. With the Guardians gone, the question of who leads the Corps becomes central. This leads to the rise of the Templar Guardians, a small group of surviving, reformed Guardians who genuinely wants to guide the Corps with compassion rather than control. Their uneasy alliance with Hal and the Lanterns adds moral complexity to the book. Venditti doesn't simply hit the reset button on the Green Lantern status quo. He rebuilds it piece by piece, exploring what it means for an organization with an order and justice to function without authoritarian leadership. In Green Lantern Corps series, Venditti and co-writer Wen Jensen expand the perspective by focusing on John Stewart and a diverse group of lanterns across the universe. If House Book is about leadership, Corps is about camaraderie, sacrifice, and what it means to be a soldier in an intergalactic army. John Stewart is written with a real empathy, haunted by his past but determined to rebuild a better Corps. There's a heavy emphasis on teamwork and loyalty, and the military tone feels authentic without being sterile. The Corps series also contains some of the most thrilling large-scale battles of the era, showcasing the versatility of the Lantern's power rings and the creativity of the artists involved. Oh, and since Venditti wrote not only the main Green Lantern series, but also Green Lantern Corps series, this omnibus sits chronologically right after not only Geoff Johns' omnibuses, but also the two Green Lantern Corps by Tomasi and Gleason omnibuses. One of Venditti's greatest strengths is his sense of pacing. His stories build momentum slowly, but deliver satisfying payoffs. He doesn't rely on constant shock value or endless retcons. Instead, he develops tension through moral conflict and the weight of responsibility. Hal's transformation from reckless hero to reluctant leader feels earned, and his clashes with fellow Lanterns over authority and accountability add depth to his character. Venditti also understands the importance of legacy. There are numerous moments through the omnibus that honor the history of the Corps, from references to fallen lanterns to the reappearances of familiar faces like Kilowog, surrounding Natu, and Salak. The art throughout the omnibus deserves special praise. Tan's sleek line work and dynamic paneling give Green Lantern an energetic, cinematic quality. Bernard Chang's work on Green Lantern Corps is especially strong. His layouts are fluid, his action sequences easy to follow, and his design for alien worlds are bursting with creativity. There's a perfect balance between modern polish and classic comic book boldness. The coloring, particularly the glowing greens and deep blacks of space, pops off the page in a way that makes the omnibus feel alive. Of course, Venditti's run isn't without its flaws. While his world building and thematic depth are impressive, some of his dialogue can feel stiff and overly expository. His Hal Jordan sometimes lacked the easy charisma that made the character so beloved under Jones. The Durland arc, while intriguing, stretched perhaps a bit too long and occasionally loses narrative focus. And while Lights Out is an excellent crossover, the follow-up storylines doesn't always maintain the same sense of urgency. Still, these issues are minor in the grand scheme of things, and they never derail the overall enjoyment of the run. As the omnibus progresses, we see Venditti planting seeds for the larger mythology he would continue to develop in later volumes. Concepts like the finite energy of the emotional spectrum, the evolving roles of the Templar Guardians, and the mounting tension between Lantern factions. These ideas would eventually culminate in later storylines like Uprising and Godhead, both of which cemented Venditti's run as more than just a transition phase between Jones and the future of the franchise. What really stands out reading this omnibus today is how much heart Venditti's writing has. Beneath the cosmic warfare and sci-fi spectacle, there's a genuine fascination with what it means to wield willpower. The best Green Lantern stories have always been about choice, choosing courage over fear, duty over comfort, hope over despair. Venditti understands that. He doesn't try to reinvent the emotional spectrum. He uses as a mirror to explore humanity. If Geoff Johns gave us the legend of the Green Lantern Corps, Robert Venditti gave us their aftermath, the rebuilding, the reckoning, and the rediscovery of purpose. And that's what makes this omnibus such a rewarding read. It's not about reliving past glories, it's about moving forward, one construct at a time, into whatever light comes next. The extras in this omnibus are practically non exist. Aside from a single one cover and a few short creator bios, there's really nothing here. It seems DC is saving the bonus material for the next volume. Who knows? We will see. Green Lantern by Robert Venditti Omnibus Volume 1 is a must-have for both Lantern fans who want to see how Corps evolve after legendary Geoff Johns run, and also for newcomers looking for a dive-in into the new explosive chapter of Green Lantern mythos. If Green Lantern by Robert Venditti Omnibus Volume 1 catch your attention, you can order your own copy in our eShop, comicsbugle.com. Your friendly neighborhood comic book shop in Europe. Accept the great catalog of collected, deluxe, and absolute editions, epic collections, and omnibuses. We guarantee you eco-friendly Hulkproof packaging, free shipping in whole EU, an option to pre-order your comic book now and pay for it later. You can also split full price to 4 separate payments because we know how expensive these books can be. So check it out, comicsbugle.com. You can find direct links below this video. And that's all. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button so you don't miss out any further videos. In our comment section, let us know what other books or topics would you like to see in our videos. And see ya, Bugles!